Hey guys, welcome to our final recorded lesson, asynchronous activity, with a professional thing to call it. We're going to look at some drawings by Dr. Suess. I've got a slideshow loaded up in the Google Classroom with 3 pictures that If you have your own favorite Dr. Suess book, you can use that. That's, I think, a great way to learn because, if you have a story, you have to pick the page you want to draw, and then the drawing will have a ton going on, so you got to pick the part of the drawing that you want to draw. You're going to see that in my second example. So I've got 3. We only have time for me to draw 2. I always kind of over plan, and this is it's a long video, and I don't want you to have to spend your whole day listening to me, just part of it. So I hope you enjoy these demos. After you watch, do your own Dr. Suess drawings and then bring them to Thursday's meet. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the final one. I had a lot of fun drawing. I already finished the drawings. I do the drawing and then I do the promo. So this is the promo. So enjoy the videos, and we'll see you tomorrow. Alright, hey guys, here I am at my drafting table. I have my essentials. Blue, thin or ultra thin, regular thin, which is what I call the thick tip. Here's the difference. I don't know if I've shown you guys this yet. So this is ultra thin, and then this is just thin. I don't know why they call it that. I don't know how much bigger they get. And I've got my cup of coffee. Delicious. Here are my drawings from Monday's class. And here are where I'm going to draw for today's class. I freehand drew a vertical and a horizontal line to break up my page into 1, 2, 3, and 4 spaces. And what I would say is that treat that as kind of like your warm-up. So before you go for a hard practice, you'll warm up. Before you do drawing, you should warm up. And so what I did was I tried to draw the line as straightly as I possibly could freehand. I also tried to divide this as evenly as possible. Think of it as like you got this is like a big piece of pizza, and you got 4 friends and you want to share it with all 4, so you want to divide it as evenly as possible. Cool. So with that out of the way, we can start our drawings. I got a few images here from Dr. Suess, one of my favorite children's authors. And actually kind of like one of my favorite adult authors too. I don't think you really grow out of Dr. Suess. So let's take a shot at drawing some of this drawing. So here we go. First image is Horton from Horton Hears a Who. And once again, notice that this image is wide. So if you're working on your own stuff, you can twist your page and draw the wide way. But if you're a teacher and you're making a demonstration on a video, you want to make sure that you keep your notepad the same. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to estimate that space. I'm going to guess that it's about, the height-width relationship is about here. Okay, it's not quite a rectangle. It's like it is a rectangle. Well, we'll find out together if I can do this. So the first thing I'm going to do, and remember, these are like your first marks, so they're like your guesses. But the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to look up top, and the wonderful thing about Dr. Suess is that he uses a lot of the curves that we talk about. So we've got that C curve right there. We've got, it almost has like a, yeah, there's like a C curve, S curve, C curve. It goes off the picture plane. We've got comes back down. And actually what I'm doing now is I'm looking at the negative shape. So the negative space that's all here. So the shape that's made from the background out of the edge of his ear, and then the edge of his back, which comes up here. And then it goes down into that cool, Dr. Suess had some of the best animal tales in the business, I would say. And we'll just kind of make that our own. It doesn't have to be an exact copy. Never does. And then it comes down to like here, and the feet are kind of off the picture plane. So again, I'm just doing a negative space drawing. And mission accomplished. Okay, I drew all the negative space. And since that went so well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start over here, And I'm going to do some more negative space, where I'm drawing the space around. So right there, look at that. Now I have another little chunk of negative space right here. Beautiful, right? And again, it looks like this ear starts off the page, and it also looks like the from here straight down is kind of where his trunk is. And we'll just put in, look at that, it's like a backwards letter J. That's all I put in. You know, if you're early in your drawing career, you might be tempted to do the whole trunk, but no, we'll save that for when we work in black. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to, I see a letter W, believe it or not, over on like the ear. So let's put in where the W meets. It's going to be here and here. It looks like it's W, W, W. And we'll just leave it there. And then maybe we'll just kind of, let's find, believe it or not, those of you that have taken my portraiture class, it applies. Here is the center line. So we'll just put like a dot in for an eye here and a dot in for an eye here. I think part of this characterization is the ears are very close together, or the eyes are very close together, so I think that's super important. Oh, good coffee. All right, so we're moving in, and let's see. So I'm the most sure about this area over here, so that's where I'm going to choose to work. And if you notice, there's like this little, it's like the best negative space shape ever. It's this tiny little, it's like a diamond shape. You guys can see I'm drawing it. All right, and then off that diamond shape, I'm going to kind of build his front legs. And it's looking like my legs are going to be smaller than the original. And it's also looking like my trunk is going to be too far back. But, you know, okay, if I was, you know, interviewing for a job at Suess Publications, yeah, okay, maybe I would be aware of that mistake. But, okay, I am not interviewing for a job at Suess Publications. I am trying to teach you guys to enjoy the process of drawing. So I'm going to take it easy on myself so that when you have something like this happen where it's not like perfect, you take it easy on yourself. See what happens? See how that works? So I think maybe if I put this other ear in and it kind of comes out to here, like see how I'm kind of like previewing it by not even drawing it? Ghost it. All right. And then once again, it's just a bunch of, well, not just, but it's two W's, or you could look at them as letter 3s. So here's the first one, and then the second one. And again, you know, this is tough. Like, it's not easy to copy another artist's marks perfectly. Looks like the trunk actually stops down here. Let's see if we can pull it off with just kind of like a... Yeah, wow, okay. So the trunk's going to be packed. That might not work. We'll find out together. And then we got two eyebrows. And it's like, well, that's probably what we'll add in with the black. And then let's get those, just the ovals of the eyes dropped in. And you'll notice, if you look really closely, that the one side of the oval is thicker. Dr. Suess also had very nice eyelashes. All right, so we've got sort of the mouth would be important too. Right there. The mouth is just kind of like take another square shape, and then you just kind of pull the trunk off. Our trunk's going to be a little bit shorter, so our Horton's going to be much different than the official Horton. That's okay though. Here we go. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to work in this black, and I am going to start my outline. And this is where I'm really trying to drop in just a gorgeous line. And it's, you know, with time you get better. And I'm just trying to notice all those subtleties. wish I had more to say about this. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're thinking, wow, I'm glad you finally gave me a chance to just watch and draw. Surprised eyebrows. The tuft of Horton hair is very awesome. Let's see, goes up, goes down. That. And we got the trunk. And I think what I'm going to do is down here, this is all jumbled. I'm going to treat this as my second chance to get it right. My shot at redemption. And because I think, I don't know, I'm in a place where I've done enough of this drawing right that I'm not making it for anybody. It's only for my own development and for your guys' development that I'm making this drawing. And I think I've done enough right that you guys believe me when I work on it. So maybe I can go back in and do more with the trunk. I don't know, maybe I can fix the trunk. We're going to find out together if I can or can't. This is kind of like where the fun of drawing comes in, because you never know if you can pull something off or not. So let's move his mouth to there, and we'll put in a hatch so it reads his mouth. And then we'll put this in so it's the other side of the trunk. Alright, got those contours. Those are lining up quite nicely. And then we'll kind of bring this up and yep, I'm happy with that. We'll kind of put in the other side of it, because remember that is like a, put in these lines. We'll kind of follow this along. This is just a contour that follows. Oh, I'm much happier with this. And then we'll just kind of swing it around. I don't know how he finished that trunk. It's just kind of like a... There you go. Alright, so we'll take it. We'll take it. And then it looks like there's like a lip down here that kind of turns into a body. And again, it's just the letter U. I said lip. Don't let that confuse you. It's the letter U. And then we'll swing this down. We'll just kind of pick it up right here. You don't know what we're doing. And we're not using a lot of tone here, but some of it would be nice to kind of separate these planes and show that one leg is the back leg and one leg is the front leg. So please feel free to do that. A little bit of hatching, a little bit of tasteful hatching. I always liked how Dr. Suess, he doesn't use a ton of hatching. It's like just enough. So there it is. There is our Horton. Maybe we can put like some hatching in here. Maybe that would help sell it. That's not very good hatching. So if you do hatching, that would do better than me. And I'm sure that I didn't get all the details. I'm sure there's a few I missed. But as far as the drawing, it rings true. So we're going to accept it. Oh, another good one. Although it's once again, sideways. So this is actually one of my favorite Dr. Seuss stories, The Lorax. It's a, the moral rings so true even today. And there's a lot going on in this drawing, so I think what I'm going to do is, especially since it would fit better in this space, is I'm going to draw the Lorax. I'm going to leave out, I forget what the guy's name is. He's not exactly the villain, but he is the antagonist. It's the guy making all the Thneeds. If anybody remembers that guy's name, and let me know in the chat, because I'd really love to know what that guy's name is. And it's not like I just have this magical device in my pocket that I could use to look up information. Oh wait, a cell phone? That's a joke. So here we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this first line, okay? And this is kind of like, all right, my measurement line. Okay, so up here is the top of the Lorax head, or Lorax's head, and down here is the stump. So that's what I'm gonna do. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna find the. It looks like between, like, if this is the bottom of the stump and this is the top, looks like this like halfway point is where he's standing. So I'm just gonna put like a few dots there, and it looks like the height width relationship is really important here, because if you this is actually like a really tall stump, believe it or not. So I'm gonna kind of just draw that in. And the beautiful thing about the way Dr. Suess does like plants and trees is they're so like ridiculously organic that even if you miss, you still might be able to get like a good drawing, because they're just super organic. All right, this is really nothing special. It's the letter V, and then it kind of zigs back in. Great way to do blades of grass. Very stylized, but in spite of the stylization, still reads as blades of grass. And then I'm going to drop in this contour ellipse that kind of so we've got the first contour of the stump here and here, and then this is still the first contour, but it merges with the second contour. See, and it kind of tells us it's round. And then in the body of it, there is some like value shading, where he kind of like leaves it open like that to give the impression that it is round. You guys don't have to do that valley hatching. All right, so Mr. Lorax, one of my favorite characters. Once again, if you haven't read this story, read it. So he's got kind of like, he's very shapy. And this character, what comic book artists call it, it is the bean. So his shape is a bean. So let's start with his head, and we're just dropping that in, subject to change later. The important thing to do is get the midline for the eyes. Notice that the midline is like over here. It's because his head is turned, it's not in the center. The relationship of midline to the center line, you know, this big line we drew, pretty important. And then we'll get like kind of like the mustache, which kind of works off the midline. It's big and fluffy over here. And I'll just kind of like wing in some zigzags. And then it kind of goes up, and it's like a different kind of fluffy over there. But again, as with much of Dr. Seuss's drawings, you know, you might not get it totally right, but he gives you a lot of, I think that's kind of like his appeal, is you have a lot of room to work with. And then I'm going to kind of come down, and I'm looking at his arm, and for now we're just going to put that in. This is our placeholder, okay? It's going to be an S curve. Oh, that's too curvy. Ooh. So we know we can fix that. And then let's have him come down here. We're going to straighten him out a little bit. I think if I had drawn him correctly, the head would be a little bit more over here. And because I didn't, we're not going to get that lean in. But the beautiful, well, maybe we will. Maybe, well, let's work a little looser. Let's not talk myself out of doing a good job. But what I'm saying is, maybe I can make this bigger in hindsight if I follow this down. But what I'm saying is, like, you know, the more you know about drawing, the better your corrections can look. So let's see, where's the, okay, so there's gonna be like this little, it almost looks like a house shape. That's what we're gonna draw, and it comes up off the top. And this is like the space between his legs. And if you want to draw good legs, figure out how to draw this little space, and you will be in good shape. And then we'll kind of just bring this down. I just drew, that's not how Dr. Seuss draws the foot, but that's how I draw the foot. And then we'll kind of, right here is where the shoulder is, and we'll kind of bring this out. And then we'll bring it over. Okay, and so these are like two different planes, and then the hand is a third different plane. I would just leave it like that. We've got a little bit to fix here, but this is kind of like our bare bones of the drawing, so I'm excited to use it. A little bit of coffee. I'll juice up on the caffeine. All right, here we go. Starting with the black pencil, or black pen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to start here because I'm picking up, there's a nice negative shape. So I'm going to pick up the negative shape, and hopefully within that negative shape will be the correction I need. All right, and then we're going to kind of swing it up to here. Yeah, we're going to have to move a lot of this over. And then we'll kind of bring that out and swing it up. All right, so there's his arm. Perhaps a little, and then it's got this cool little, it's like a pointing finger. I was always a big fan of Dr. Seuss's hands. And then we'll start I've already drawn it once, so I'm just drawing it again down here. But there's the mustache. So you see how I'm making a big correction here, okay? So I drew it once here, and I'm saying the placement is not correct. So I'm drawing it over here. So we're going to see what happens. It might work. I might look like a fool. But either way, I did my best. And then look up here. There's like a little nose. Bark has a nose. And that kind of doesn't... the nice thing about this nose is it shows us where the center line of the face is. And this side is like a... Alright, and then he's got an eye here. An eye here. And I don't know if they're like perfect circles like that. I'm actually sitting a little ways back from my computer. Oh, and look at that. They're like... Look at how they're like pleading with him. Like, hey, like... Because he's pointing his finger. Okay, and this is a really good lesson in expressions. Because you're pointing your finger at someone. That's very like... challenging thing to do. Like when I was young, my parent, if I was in the grocery store, this one was like 5 or 6 years old, if I was in the grocery store and I like pointed at a person, my mom would, oh, don't point at that person, it's very rude. So I wonder if part of what Dr. Seuss was doing is he was softening this very accusatory pose with some compassionate eyebrows, because that is like the theme of the book. The Lorax, he is kind of a wet blanket. He's saying, hey, stop making these, like, but he's not, like, saying stop it because he doesn't like it. He's saying stop it because if you do this, you're going to, ruin the environment. You got to pump your brakes. So, yeah, that's kind of a nice way to soften it up. And we'll go down. My Lorax has a lumpier head than Dr. Seuss's Lorax. That's perfectly okay. And then it looks like the placement of the arm was just inside the, like it's like right by the mustache. And then his little hand, we'll draw the other half of the arm. Hand. And hands are tough. It's almost like you gotta draw just enough to convince the audience that there's a hand there, so that's what I draw. I just do a little flipper, a little mitten like we saw with Keith Haring. So if you did our Keith Haring drawings and you're like, oh dang, I like those Keith Haring mittens, feel free to do one of his. And we're gonna get that little, and then we're gonna try to get that foot a little better than what, it looks like the foot is just, oh wow, there's like a whole, oh man, the foot is not the strongest part. Yeah, just like, ego boost for you guys. And then we got the other foot. And I'm going to do a little thing like that. So, not perfect, but not terrible. And then we're going to fill in the stump. I'm going to make it a little bigger so it looks like he's standing on it. Fortunately, I don't have to change much. Swing this down. Do the grass. It probably would have been smart to do if I did the grass first. And then, let's see, let's hold the drawing back. Let's look at it on the preview screen. So maybe I can go back in with a thick tip marker and really bring this to life. Here we go. Let's look. So you only get one shot with the thick tip. I got to be careful. So I have a tendency to use hard edges and angles, and that is not how Dr. Suess would have wanted his person drawn. So I'm not going to use those angles. But this marker is kind of like my last resort marker, because there. Yeah, getting that smoothed out really did a lot for the characterization. I'm just going to kind of add some dots to those eyes to pop them off. I'm going to make sure the mustache is way more expressive. Kind of tuck it in there. Alright, there we go. Oh yeah, I'm much happier with this. I'm going to bring the... see how changes just keep happening? Oh man. But that's the thing, is I've been doing a lot of drawing, so it's kind of, this is the fun part where your mistakes become your signature almost. Can I do some of this? Give it some volume. And then maybe we'll just kind of put in the background, just a little bit of just a swoopy line to suggest some depth. Sky, ground, all that good stuff. Put a hint of a truffle, a tree back there. It's a sketch. And then maybe we'll... yeah, get that in there. Cool. All right, so I'm looking at my timer. I went over again. I'm not going to do the third drawing, but you guys can. So what I'd like you to do are take your best shot at 3 Dr. Suess drawings. It'll go faster for you guys because you won't be talking while you're drawing. And bring those to tomorrow's meet. And yeah, that's about it. We'll talk about it at tomorrow's meet. If you'd like to, you could also do a Dr. Suess or Keith Haring inspired drawing. It's always available. But I thought about what I wanted to get done with the time we have remaining, and I felt that this was a cool thing to do. So I can't wait to talk to you guys at tomorrow's meet, see what you came up with. As always, have a great day.